Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I gotta be honest with you, Blairski. I'm a little
Yeah.
down.
What's that?
We have a really fun episode to chat about today,
Yeah.
but it is the fifth and final of this glorious month of October, which means that our favorite month has almost come and gone.
2 days till Halloween at this point of recording, man.
Which is really exciting. I mean, it's been a great month, a lot of fun. And like I said, we have a really fun movie to chat about today. But still slightly depressing that it's almost over. But let's stay positive here. Before we chat about this week's episode, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news? You want to kick this one off, Blairski?
I do, man, but I just want to say for us, Halloween is 365 days of the year, buddy.
You better believe it, brother.
All right, horror news. Terrifier 3, which is set for the 2024 holiday season, will indeed be a Yuletide slasher. And me and you will be checking out the first official teaser trailer later this week when I drag you to Terrifier 2 in theaters.
Yeah, I have here written down. So whether you're like Blair and can't get enough of Art the Clown and his shenanigans, or you're like me and I'm just going for the sweet, sweet taste of movie theater popcorn and a box of overpriced milk duds, we will be there.
Yeah, we will be there. I'm excited to check out that teaser trailer, though.
Me too. And they keep saying teaser trailer. But they've also promised that it's over 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
So a little bit longer than your usual teaser trailer.
Yeah. It's about the length of a normal trailer.
Yeah, I would say so.
Keeping on that Terrifier trend, I read an article. Terrifier director Damien Leone has his sights set on remaking Friday the 13th.
Okay.
No word yet if he will. It's something he is pushing for.
It's a passion project.
But I don't see it happening anytime soon with all the legal issues still going on with Friday the 13th. So,
yeah, he has his own franchise that's been doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what'll happen, right?
I'm just curious if he's, his third Terrifier movie, well, technically fourth Terrifier movie, and he's just kind of, trying to find something else to tackle, and he's got a passion for Friday the 13th. He said it's always something he's dreamed of doing. So
yeah, it's proof that he can obviously create an original piece.
Yeah.
Maybe next on is, tackling one of the biggest franchise in this genre. So who knows? Who knows?
I don't know if you'd want to make that jump though,
It's a big jump. It's a huge jump. Yeah.
Next horror news. Don Mancini, the man behind Chucky and Child's Play series, has hinted Chucky and Megan could face off against each other. Something along the lines of Freddy versus Jason.
Okay. Huh.
Who do you think would win? Who would win that fight?
Well, I still have not seen Megan yet.
Okay.
And it's coming back for a sequel. Am I?
You are correct. You are
right.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, any Chucky that we get is good Chucky. Yeah. So yeah, why not? Sure.
I like Chucky better, but I feel like Megan would win that fight.
Okay, hot take from Blair to end out the month of October. Oh, goodness
man, the hate messages will come.
Yeah, we're gonna get hate mail for that for sure. What else you got?
Last thing, I got one more thing. Five Nights at Freddy's released this weekend, shattered box office records on opening day with over $68 million in revenue opening day alone. Man.
How crazy is that? Yeah, they ended up totaling $130.5 million opening weekend. So it's not only Blumhouse's best release, but it is apparently the best, or they brought in the most money of any movie released on Halloween ever.
That's wild, man.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's also crazy when you think that it was released on the streaming service Peacock the same day.
Yeah, right?
So you'd anticipate a lot of people are going to watch this at home. No way. Horror fans showed up in large amounts. You went and saw it.
I saw it opening day, man. I saw it
Yeah.
opening day.
I mean, you can, with those kind of numbers, you can only expect that whether they went into it planning a franchise or whether they're thinking about it now, they will be making another
They're
one.
thinking about it now for
Guaranteed.
sure.
With those numbers, I mean, the movie was made for $20 million.
Yeah.
And it made 130.5 in the first weekend.
Freaking wild.
They're going to be making another one. Oh, goodness. I've got a couple pieces. I actually just have the one.
Okay.
We had a couple similar. The poster is also out for Terrifier 3.
Yeah. It looks awesome.
You had hinted at it being a Christmas or a seasonal film. It looks really, really cool. For those of you who have not yet seen the poster, it shows Art the Clown wielding an axe, grinning ear to ear in front of a Christmas tree with Santa Claus carved face slung around his neck.
Yeah, kind of like a necklace.
It was, I expected nothing less than Terrifier 3. Yeah, again, we've already mentioned it, but I am, as much as I dislike the second one, I'm excited to see the trailer, and I'm excited to see what they'll do with the third one.
And yeah, just sit through the 2.5-hour movie just to watch the 2-minute trailer.
Is it only 2.5 hours? I could have sworn it was 5 hours.
Oh, get out of here.
Let's jump right into this week's episode. Our fifth and final film in Universal Monster Movie Month goes to 1935's Bride of Frankenstein. Runtime for this one, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Universal with these movies is beyond consistent because I think all of the movies we've reviewed have been about 1 hour and 15 minutes, which, as you all know, listeners, is the sweet spot.
It is the sweet spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Blairski, you have any fun facts for this one?
Yeah, I do. So during the screenwriting process, the film underwent 2 different names before landing on Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
And they were The New Adventures of Frankenstein, The Monster Lives.
All right.
And The Return of Frankenstein.
Okay.
I feel like The Return of Frankenstein would have been more fitting technically for this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we'll talk about it in likes and dislikes, I'm sure, but Return of Frankenstein, would have been a lot more fitting than Bride of Frankenstein. But nonetheless, what else you got?
Elsa Lanchester modeled the bride's hissing from the hissing of swans, and actually gave herself her sore throat. Gave herself a sore throat when filming that hissing sequence because it was shot at multiple angles. Right. So she had to just keep doing that. Bride of Frankenstein hiss. The hiss.
Yeah. Modeled after, what was it? Modeled after a goose.
Swan, actually.
A swan.
The hissing of swans, angry swans.
Okay.
My last fun fact, unlike the original Frankenstein, which had the monster at the beginning credits with a question mark.
Yes.
And revealed in the end credits that it was Karloff, this movie listed Karloff right at the beginning as the monster, but had a question mark for the monster's mate. And even the end credits, the question mark was still there. It never revealed who it was, but it was in fact Elsa Lanchester, who also played Mary Shelley in the beginning sequence of the movie.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't find any reasoning why they left it as a question mark. But yeah, something that I noticed at the beginning right away, and something that it's like, oh, and they're gonna, at the end of the movie, they'll show her name, and they didn't, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, but they showed her up top under Mary Shelley.
Yeah, and also what I thought was really, really cool about the intro credits was Boris Karloff was just listed as Karloff,
yeah,
which is kind of cool.
That was really cool because that's when me and you talk about him. That's just always says Karloff.
Yeah, Karloff. Yeah. I've got a few fun facts here. Boris Karloff did not want the creature to speak, but was overruled. Mm-hmm. In the first film, he took out his bridge work in his mouth, which gave the creature the sunken face. And in this one, it's noticeably his face is a lot more fuller.
Yeah.
because he had to keep his bridge in to deliver his lines, there's quite a few lines for old Frankenstein's monster.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's kind of different, eh?
Yeah.
Karloff lost 20 pounds due to his hot costume and makeup during the filming. What else do we have here? The tiny mermaid in the jar in Dr. Pretorius's lab was named Josephine McKim, and she was a member of both the 1924 and 1928 U.S. Olympic swim team.
Oh, wild.
And she won a gold medal in 1928, which is pretty cool.
Wild.
Ella Lancaster, who of course played Frankenstein's mate, was only 5'4", but they put her on stilts to make her 7 foot tall.
Jesus.
She was wrapped so tightly in bandages that she was carried everywhere on set and had to be fed through a straw. The pains we go through for our art. Hey?
So when she's laying on the table, that was actually her wrapped in the bandages?
Yeah, just on stilts. Yeah.
That's wild.
Ella Lancaster has stated that her makeup for the bride took 3 hours. That's a lot.
Really? That's a lot. It's a long time,
Boris Karloff, 5 hours for this one.
Yeah. Well, I could see that for Boris Karloff. With her, I feel like, are you sure that's not just for the hair?
I think it was just, from what I got, was just the makeup, but it's quite possible that it was both makeup and hair. We'll talk about the hair later.
That's great.
I'm sure in likes and dislikes. This one shot in 46 days on a budget of approximately $400,000. Not bad. And then finally, Bela Lugosi, a name that we've mentioned quite a few times this month, was considered for the role of Dr. Pretorius, which could have been a cool take.
Yeah, it would have been.
We'll talk about the gentleman who played him later, because he was quite good as well. But before we get into the starring roles in this one, let's talk about the people who helped make it. Directed by James Whale. Of course, we've mentioned his name as well. Directed 1933's The Invisible Man, 1931's Frankenstein, 1932's The Old Dark House, and 1933's By Candlelight. This one written by William Hurlbut. Also wrote 1934's Madam Spy, 1933's Ladies Must Love, and 1936's Rainbow on the River. And then finally written by John L. Balderston, again, a name we've mentioned many a times this month. Also wrote 1931's Dracula, 1932's The Mummy, 1936's Dracula's Daughter, 1937's The Prisoner of Zenda, and 1942's Tennessee Johnson. Starring Boris Karloff, or as we like to call him, Karloff, as Frankenstein's creature. Also starred in 1971's Isle of the Snake People, 1968's Fear Chamber, 1963's The Comedy of Terrors, which we watched a trailer for yesterday in a really cool theater. And 1940's Black Friday, just to name a few.
And The Mummy, which we just did.
And The Mummy, that's right. Yeah. Also starring Elsa Lancaster as both Mary Shelley and the monster's mate, as Blair had mentioned. Also starred in 1942's Tales of Manhattan, 1943's Forever and a Day, 1947's The Bishop's Wife, and in 1964's Mary Poppins.
Really?
Pretty cool.
That is cool.
This one starring Colin Clive as Dr. Henry Frankenstein. Of course, also starred in 1931's Frankenstein, 1935's Mad Love, 1935's The Girl from 10th Avenue, and 1935's The Man Who Broke the Bank at Monte Carlo. All of his films were basically filmed between like 1935 and 1937. He passed away at the young age of 37, unfortunately.
I was reading he was fighting with alcohol pretty bad. Even during the making of this movie as well. Yeah,
there was a whole bit about were they going to recast the role of Henry Frankenstein, and the director said absolutely not. He wanted him as manic as possible, which is it's a little sad if you ask me. But he was great in this. We'll talk about that later. This one also starring Ernest Thesiger as Dr. Pretorius. Also starred in 1951's A Christmas Carol, one of my dad's favorites. 1948's The Winslow Boy, and 1960's Sons and Lovers. And then I had to throw her in there because she was hilarious and delivered so many lines of the night.
Minnie.
Yeah, Una O'Connor as Minnie also starred in 1938's The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1933's The Invisible Man, and 1935's David Copperfield. She was hysterical.
So funny, man.
Synopsis, courtesy of our dear pals at IMDb. Mary Shelley reveals the main characters of her novel survived. Dr. Frankenstein, goaded by an even madder scientist, builds his monster a mate. Yeah, that was an okay synopsis.
That's exactly what happens.
Pretty straightforward, yeah. This leads to one of our favorite segments of the show, Kill Count.
Kill Count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for this one.
We finally do. We finally have a kill count. It's been a tough month for a kill count segment,
it has indeed, yeah.
So as per the horror fandom webpage, kill count is 9.
Okay.
But one of them is from the flashback sequence showing the first movie. I'm not going to count that. And then they also count the woman that they take the heart from for the bride.
Yeah.
But they don't show that. We don't know what state that woman was even in. They just know they have a heart. So I'm going to go with a kill count of 7.
Which for 1935 is still, I would say that's still pretty high.
Starts off quick too.
It's no 1994's Mosquito.
No.
But it's certainly high for 1935.
What was another high one? Piranha. Piranha was a really high one.
Piranha, absolutely. That was in the thousands. This leads to one of our favorite segments, Likes and Dislikes. The portion of the show where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski, would you like to kick this off?
Yes, I liked that this film had a score, or at least like a musical background, right?
Yeah, a really nice score too.
I noticed it right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, and I kind of paid attention to it throughout the movie, and I quite enjoyed it.
It's obviously something that we've been talking about quite frequently. Music just adds so much, especially in horror films. And it was something that really stuck out in 31's Dracula, where there was no music at all. And it was something that really stuck out for having no music. So this I thought was great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really like the tribute they kind of played to Mary Shelley in the beginning scene. Followed by the recap of the original movie. Which makes me wonder, is this the first sequel in the history of cinema that shows a recap to the original movie?
That's a good question.
Happens all the time now, but
I don't know. But I mean, you think about it and it's, you hope that most everyone sees the first one, but you can't necessarily guarantee that they have. Right. So I am a fan of the recap. Even with TV shows, I'm a fan of the recap.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. What did I miss?
I like a little refresher for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do like how this film takes place immediately after the original.
Me too. It has like a Halloween 2 vibe where it just picks up where they left off. Yeah.
Right. I really, really like that. I loved how cheesy this movie was, especially from the character Minnie, with like her screams, her just screeches, how wild and crazy she was. And not only just her, but how all the other characters would just constantly tell her to shut up.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing, man.
But she would fight right back. Like she was very, very cartoony. She was one of the first characters to see Frankenstein's creature emerge from the windmill.
Yeah.
And when she sees him, like you were saying, that scream, and she almost runs off with her arms. She's like a cartoon character.
I know, it's so over the top, but it's great.
She was hilarious. It was camp in every way. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah.
What else do I have here for likes? I liked that the monster moved at a faster pace in this one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which makeup I like better. The first or the second one, it's a tough go, but either way, they were good. Both movies. The makeup was fantastic.
I've certainly seen Frankenstein more than Bride of Frankenstein. It was really, I think when you think of Frankenstein's monster, you think of the one from 31's Frankenstein.
The original.
The sunken face, the slow walker. Yeah, so I'm favorable. Yeah, I'm favorable to the original, but I didn't hate this one either.
No, not at all. I mean, it's still Boris Karloff. It's not like they changed who it is or anything like that.
Yeah.
Once again, I loved all the sets. I love how they had the exact same set for Frankenstein's lab as the original, the same staircase, the same room, everything.
Yeah. I loved to go with the sets. I love the wreckage of the windmill. I love Dr. Pretorius's lab, the incredible forest with those chase scenes of Frankenstein's monster and the hermit's cabin. And it's really cool. This film was shot entirely in studio. So that's all backlot stuff. That's all soundstage. I love it. That forest I keep going back to that forest. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it looked great. It looked really, really great.
It still looked like something you would see at a play, like on
totally.
a play. All the sets do, but it's just the amount of work that went in them is pretty wild.
Absolutely. It looks very staged in a natural way, if that makes any kind of sense whatsoever.
That makes total sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
I only have one more thing written down for likes. I mean, I could probably talk more, but only one more thing written down, which was I also loved the use of mannequins once again. Yeah,
there was another a toss of a mannequin. I also enjoyed that quite a lot. Yeah. Before we get into dislikes, I got a couple more likes to mention.
For sure.
I love the intro bit, like you were saying, with Mary Shelley, Mr. Shelley, and Lord Byron. There was something that we had mentioned in 1931's Frankenstein, in Creature of the Black Lagoon, The Mummy, and Dracula, where the movie just ends kind of abruptly. So it's nice that they're aware of this, because right in the intro, Mary Shelley has a little bit of dialogue with her husband, assuring them that the story's not over. And like that was not the ending of it, which is kind of nice. They address that maybe the first one ended abruptly, which I kind of like.
Yeah, me too.
I thought there was some really great emotional scenes in this movie.
Yeah, there was.
There were some really beautiful moments between the creature and the blind hermit.
Yeah.
The creature even sheds a tear, which we don't see in the first one, and I think it's maybe the only time we see it in this one. It's just the first moment in his short life that he felt any kind of love or friendship. It's that whole don't judge a book by its cover. And obviously the hermit is blind. He can't see, but they have some really beautiful moments, which I really like. The acting was great. I wish there was more Elsa Lancaster.
Yeah, me too.
We'll get into the dislikes in a moment.
Yeah.
I love how hectic the creation scene was. It just shows you how mad everyone involved in
everybody
the creation
in that room
was.
Yeah, all four of them.
Plus, we get some really interesting camera shots that we haven't seen yet in the Universal monster movies in this one. They're a little bit more experimental with it, and they're so great. They're showing everyone in that creation process. I love it.
Yeah.
And then the bride's wig is just iconic.
It's so good, right? It is.
It has to be one of the most recognizable hairstyles in cinematic history.
Yeah.
Like right away, it's like, oh, it's so good. That's what I have for. Oh, go ahead.
I was just kind of explaining how it's just tall. You've got the lightning bolts going down the sides of it. Yeah.
It's great. I have a question. What did you think of the humans in the jars in Dr. Pretorius's lab?
So this is our first talking moment on dislikes. So
okay.
My first dislike, I found the scene when Dr. Pretorius is showing off his little miniature army to Henry Frankenstein, kind of a little dumb and over the top.
Yeah.
It was funny in a sense, but it kind of almost took me out of the movie a little bit. I do appreciate having those special effects during the time period. 1935, right?
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate how it was a little cheesy and silly, but it just totally felt out of place from the rest of the movie, and I didn't really like it, to be honest.
No, and to happen so early, the worst thing I think, or one of the worst things you can do in a movie, is take your audience out of it within the first half an hour.
Yeah.
especially when it's such a short movie. But yeah, it seemed a little bit odd. Maybe odd, and he just kept pulling out jars. There was a king, there was a queen,
so
the archbishop, there was the devil that he mentions looks kind of like him.
Yeah.
There was a ballerina, there was a mermaid I had mentioned earlier. Like, it just keeps going on and on. Even Henry Frankenstein is like a little bit shocked at this.
He's like, what's going on? And the king's like obsessed with the queens, keeps breaking out of his jar and
blowing her kisses.
blowing her kisses.
Like
when
you
they
said,
were all talking, they sounded like the chipmunks.
Yeah, it just it kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah, it did. That's definitely my first dislike I've written down, man. Is that scene.
Let's talk about, and I know this one is going to come up. This is really my only other dislike. And we had mentioned it when you had said in Fun Facts that this movie had different names, and we thought maybe The Return of Frankenstein might have been a better name. Because Elsa Lanchester, who is great in this movie, is only in it as the bride for maybe 5 minutes.
You're funny, man. That is also my only other dislike written down. Yeah. And it's the airtime that she got.
Yeah, they needed to increase that dramatically. She was great. Yeah, she was great. And she was great as Mary Shelley as well.
She was.
But I wanted to see more of the Bride of Frankenstein. And it's so weird that that costume, her in that costume and that wig is so iconic when she gets so little screen time in this movie. Did
you look up the actual amount of screen time she got? I would guess around 45 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit longer just because that scene when they finally unwrap her does kind of go on, but it's like, she doesn't get a whole lot. She hisses a couple times and, the creature makes her uncomfortable, and then it's the lab explodes. Spoiler alert. But I just wanted more. I just wanted more. Yeah. But not too bad. 1935, only 2 dislikes.
Yeah, no, not bad at all.
If we're done with likes and dislikes, what do you say we move right along to our next segment, which is lessons we learned from watching 1935's Bride of Frankenstein.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, would you like to kick this off?
Yeah. Always make sure you have enough pepper and salt. When mom comes over for dinner, you don't want to disappoint mother by not having enough pepper and salt.
Rookie mistake. Have salt, have pepper. Come on. Be a host.
I also learned friend good, alone bad, wine good, bread good, smoking very good.
Smoking very good.
Fire good. Fire also bad. Music good.
What I like
all
about
things I've learned.
Yeah, Frankenstein's creature knows what he likes and he knows what he doesn't like.
Yeah.
He's a party animal, really. He likes drinking, smoking, and listening to music.
He is. Next thing I wrote down for what I learned is based on basically the moments that you talked about between the monster and the blind hermit. And I just said, I learned just to be kind to each other, be a better human being. Because there's so many scenes where I felt so bad for Frankenstein's monster.
Words to live by. Yeah. And the hermit as well, just feeling bad for the hermit.
100%.
The hermit mentions, I pray to God that I have somebody to keep me company. Oh, what a sad life not having that.
Oh, for sure, man. Just loneliness. Horrible. Yeah. Last thing I learned, never underestimate the power of an angry lynch mob.
Yeah, absolutely. I said here, if you want to build community morale and bring a group of people in a small village together, just have a crazed scientist create a monster.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they'll join up right away. They'll stop what they're doing immediately. Yeah. I've got a couple here. Frankenstein's monster is an escape artist. Quickest escape from handcuffs and chains since the great Harry Houdini.
Just rips him from the ground.
Yeah, there's this whole buildup of don't let him out of your sight. We got him, and within 15 seconds, they do not have him.
Yeah.
I learned that even mad scientists enjoy flying kites. They just prefer to fly them during massive thunderstorms.
Yeah.
I have here, even if your friend is encouraging you, don't give in to peer pressure. Smoking kills.
Yeah. Don't smoke.
To add on to yours, there is good and there is bad. Fire is both good and bad.
Yeah.
I've got two more here. Go out and grab yourself a fire extinguisher. Hell, grab two of them.
Yeah.
And then finally, I learned that the creature, although large in stature, is very light on his feet. He sneaks up on quite a few people.
Like everybody.
Yeah. It's like, how do you not hear him? He's wearing size 23s and he's right behind you. So good.
Oh,
This leads us to our next favorite segment, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills, they might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites, Blairski.
yes, sir.
Do you have any lines from the night?
I do have some lines from the night in the beginning segment, just before Mary Shelley is about to tell her story. She goes, "It's a perfect night for mystery and horror. The air itself is filled with monsters." In
Ooh,
which I love it, but I'm not done yet. In which Lord Byron replies, "I'm all ears, while heaven blasts the night without. Open your pits of hell." Great.
How wild and
Great.
poetic is that? Hey,
Just so great.
I'm within the first 5 minutes too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
opening scene. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a terrible wedding night, said by many.
Yeah.
After it is found that Henry Frankenstein is indeed alive, but so is the monster.
Yeah.
Gin is my weakness. Or no, gin is my only weakness.
Yeah.
Followed later by cigars are my only weakness, both said by Dr. Pictoris.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And my final line of the night is "She's alive, alive." We get it again. We get the delivery again from Henry Frankenstein. He only says it twice this time, but we still
Yeah, maybe not as iconic and dramatic as in Frankenstein, but so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple here. Mary Shelley at the beginning of the film says, "Such an audience needs something stronger than a pretty little love story. So why wouldn't I write of monsters?" I
So
love
good,
that.
man.
Yeah. Minnie also says, "It's alive. The monster, it's alive." I've got another one.
That.
Yeah, that's after she comes running back to the castle after seeing Frankenstein's creature. I've got another one here from Minnie. "I'd hate to find him under my bed at night. He's a nightmare in the day, he is."
Yeah.
I've got one more here. Dr. Pretorius, when he walks into the crypt, says, "I can smell the ghosts already."
Mm-hmm.
What a great line. I love that. I love that. Yeah. This leads us to our final segment of the night. We like to call it our favorite, celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hair. Blairski, do you have a celebrity lookalike?
I got two.
Excellent.
I got two. Okay, so my first one, I know I've used this character before in Celebrity Lookalike, but I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
And Minnie reminded me a little bit of the Wicked Witch from the West in Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Yeah.
A little bit in the nose and a lot in the cackle.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the cackle. Definitely the cackle.
My last celeb lookalike, Dr. Pretorius, reminded me of Sir Ian Murray McKellen as none other than Magneto in the X-Men movies.
That's right. The list goes on for him.
Yeah,
Every
for sure.
Shakespeare
Legend.
Every Shakespeare character ever, Gandalf. Yeah. Excellent. I've got one here. I thought that Dr. Pretorius reminded me. Dr. Pretorius was an older version of Scottish actor Alan Cumming, known for Cabaret, Goldeneye, and Spice World.
Okay, well, who is he in Goldeneye?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't
I'm just trying to
seen
picture him.
I haven't seen GoldenEye in ages. For those of you who have seen Cabaret, he plays the MC. So
What about Spice World?
Spice World, I believe he plays Baby Spice.
He's probably the manager or something. Though.
Yeah,
He's probably the manager.
Not Baby Spice.
Not Baby Spice.
This leads us to our final rating for 1935's Bride of Frankenstein, Blairski. Out of 5 reanimated corpses smoking old stogies they have found, short but not too big around, what do you give it out of 5?
It's rhyming tonight.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give it 4.5 reanimated corpses smoking old stogies they have found, short but not too big around, out of 5.
Excellent rating. I also give it 4.5 reanimated corpses smoking old stogies they have found, short but not too big around, out of 5. This movie was
It's fun.
maybe not as scary as 1931's Frankenstein, but it was a lot of fun and it had a kind of a little bit of comedic elements to it. It was nice.
I enjoyed all the comedic elements to it except for that
The jars.
jar scene. Yeah.
I think this was the perfect way. I think Frankenstein was the perfect way to start off the month. We started with Creature. Sorry. I'm really glad we ended with this one. We ended strong with The Bride of Frankenstein. Such a great film.
Fun month, man. It's been a good month. Really
fun month. I'm excited to get into our next month. We'll be releasing one more episode on Halloween, and then we're back to the wheel, baby.
Yeah.
Something that I've really missed this month is we didn't do a wheel. So really excited to get into that. And of course, our next month. But until then, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
And I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/Reviews That Scare. That's linktr.ee/Reviews That Scare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsthatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.